You might think latex gloves or the mattress you love are modern inventions, but that's not true. The stuff that makes them has been around for a crazy long time. Over 3,500 years. We're talking about ancient civilizations tapping trees to get this milky sap. Fast forward to today, and latex is everywhere. Each year, more than 12 million tons of natural rubber is produced. But how does this gooey tree sap turn into all these awesome things? Let's dissect the science behind it. We know that latex is like a microscopic party inside water. Tiny polymer particles are suspended, the key ingredient for making rubber. But where does this come from? For that, we'll have to travel halfway across the globe. Believe it or not, our latex journey started way back in the 11th century. The people of Central and South America weren't wearing raincoats just yet, but they were using rubber, a close relative of latex. They coated fabrics with it and even made balls for games. It all starts with the seeds. There's a special kind of tree called the Hevea brasiliensis, also known as the rubber tree. This bad boy produces a milky white liquid called natural latex. They're pampered in a nursery for a year and a half, then given a bud graft from a better tree. After a trim, they join other hopeful trees on a plantation where they'll be cared for 6 to 7 years. So we know all about where natural latex comes from, but what about the other kind? Let's enter the world of synthetic rubber. Synthetic rubber is a human-made version that's cooked up in a lab. There are two main ingredients, styrene and butadiene, and both come from a precious source of energy, petroleum. But just like natural latex has different variations, synthetic rubber can be customized too. Scientists can create types of rubber that resist chemicals and high temperatures. Now that the rubber trees are all grown up, it's harvest time. But instead of plucking fruit, there's another task. A skilled tapper needs to perform a delicate trick. Using a special knife, they carefully shave a precise slanted cut into the bark, releasing the white liquid. It's all about finding the perfect balance. Too deep a cut and the tree gets hurt, too shallow and we miss out on valuable latex. This latex then travels down a specially designed channel cut alongside the initial slash, all the way to a spout at the bottom. It flows right into a waiting cup for collection. But this isn't a one and done deal. Every other day, the tapper returns wielding their special knife again. This time, they make a thin shaving right below the previous cut, creating a ladder-like pattern on the tree. As the trees reach a certain height, it's time to change it up. The other side of the tree gets tapped, giving the first side a chance to heal up. It's a bit of a slow process. Each tapping takes about 3 hours and yields less than a cup of latex. Remember, latex starts to solidify pretty quickly on its own. To keep it flowing freely for collection, the tappers add a special ingredient like ammonia to the cup. Finally, both the liquid and the collected clumps get whisked away to factories where the real transformation happens. Once collected, the latex sap begins its journey to become the useful latex products we know. First, it goes through a series of processing steps to remove impurities and prepare it for further treatment. It's strained to remove large particles. In some cases, it goes through centrifugation, a high-speed spinning process that separates the heavier rubber particles from the watery serum. Next, antioxidants and other additives are mixed in to improve the latex's properties and shelf life. These additives can help prevent the latex from degrading and make it more durable for its final use. You've got your latex ready to go, but it's still a bit like sticky milk. Back in the 1800s, Charles Goodyear discovered the process of vulcanization. Rubber was great, but it had a major weakness: temperature. Get it too hot and it turned all gooey, too cold and it became stiff and brittle. Not exactly what you want for a reliable material. This game-changing process involved heating rubber with sulfur, making it way more elastic and resistant to both hot and cold. Since vulcanization causes chemical bonds to form within the latex, rubber's good to go in all sorts of weather now. Sometimes the latex needs to be even stronger. It's time to extract concentrated rubber. This step uses specific methods to separate the valuable rubber particles from the remaining water. Machines use strong spinning to fling out water, leaving behind concentrated rubber. Or a special chemical is added that makes the rubber particles puff up and float to the top. It's then skimmed off, leaving behind concentrated rubber. The latex is ready to take shape. It's poured into different molds depending on the use. A car tire mold is massive, while a mold for a tiny rubber band needs to be super precise. Whether it's gloves, balloons, or even mattresses, latex can be molded to fit anything. High pressure is applied once the mold is filled, ensuring every nook and cranny gets filled perfectly. Then, depending on the product, heat or special chemicals might be used to solidify the latex and set it in its final form. So where do we use all this rubber, natural and synthetic? Well, the biggest rubber fan by far is the tire industry. A massive 60 to 70% of all rubber goes into those trusty tires that keep your car rolling. But rubber's reach goes way beyond your wheels. Think about those comfy shoes you love, the conveyor belts that keep factories running smoothly, or even the fan belt in your car that keeps things cool. Yep, all packed with rubber. Rubber's also a champion when it comes to hoses, flooring, and even cables. It's everywhere. And remember those latex gloves we talked about earlier? Well, those are actually made directly from natural rubber latex. Before the final products hit the shelves, there's one last barrier. They have to pass rigorous quality checks to ensure they meet industry standards. This includes testing for strength, flexibility, and resistance to wear and tear. The latex products need to be perfect and perform at their best, or else there might be some major consequences. With quality assurance complete, it's time to package up the freshly made latex goods. Whether it's a box of gloves or a bag of balloons, each item is carefully packed to protect it during transit and storage. These products fill your local stores and are transported to factories, homes, and offices. It's amazing to think about the journey that these products have taken, from humble latex sap to finished goods ready for use. But with the growing population and usage, the world needs more products than natural rubber trees can handle. Today, most rubber is synthetic, but both sides are innovating. In 2022, the synthetic rubber market was valued at $23 billion US. And with new technology on the horizon, it's only bound to go up. Scientists are creating improved natural rubber varieties, while synthetic rubber gets cheaper, faster, and finds new uses. And there you have it, the journey of how latex is made. Who knew that a rubber duck could have so much effort put into it? So if you enjoyed learning about this process, keep your eyes peeled for the next one on our channel. Thanks for watching. Have you ever gotten your hands on a giant tub of Play-Doh? You can make anything with some smart color mixing and a little imagination. It's played with so much around the world that Play-Doh even has its own signature scent that brings back so many childhood memories. This isn't just any modeling dough. It's a cultural phenomenon with its own unique texture and even a special perfume. Over 2 billion cans of Play-Doh have been produced. That's 900 million pounds. But what makes Play-Doh so special? And how is this magical modeling dough actually made? Well, the story of Play-Doh is just as unique as its texture. It all began with a frustrated preschool teacher. Kay Zufall was upset about the hard clay her nursery school students had to play with. It was a constant struggle, but her brother-in-law offered an unexpected solution. He worked in the wallpaper cleaning industry and showed her a doughy substance used to remove soot from walls. Who knew a product designed for cleaning could become a cornerstone of childhood creativity? After some tweaking to ensure it was non-toxic and moldable, this wallpaper cleaner transformed into a Play-Doh modeling compound. It was finally hitting store shelves in 1956. While it was marketed towards only schools at first, that changed fast. Play-Doh's popularity grew through word of mouth and television commercials, becoming a household staple within a few years. Fast forward to today, and Play-Doh is a global phenomenon. The original cardboard cans, originally filled with a hefty 1.5 pounds of off-white dough, have turned into a whole range of bright colors. It's a sea of blues, greens, pinks, and yellows, all ready to be molded into something wonderful. Beyond the pure fun factor, Play-Doh offers so many educational benefits. Squishing, rolling, and shaping the dough helps young children develop hand-eye coordination and fine motor skills essential for tasks like writing and buttoning clothes. The colors spark their creativity, while sorting and mixing them introduces them to color recognition. Play-Doh might smell good enough to eat, and let's face it, some curious kids might even try, but it's actually made with safe, everyday ingredients: flour, salt, water, and even some fun flavorings and colorings. The exact recipe is a closely guarded secret, just like any special family recipe passed down through generations. This secrecy helps maintain the brand identity of Play-Doh and prevent competitors from replicating its exact feel and performance. But the secret sauce is what gives Play-Doh its unique texture and long shelf life. So, what's really the science behind the squish? It's all about the unique ability of the Play-Doh to hold its shape while remaining pliable. This is done through the science of starches and some clever additives. Flour, the main ingredient, contains tiny starch molecules that act like sponges. When mixed with warm water, these starches absorb the moisture and swell up, creating a gel-like network that gives Play-Doh its structure. But starches alone can become clumpy and difficult to mold. Here's where the secret additives come in. Some act like microscopic building blocks, preventing the starch network from collapsing and creating a crumbly mess. Others function as lubricants, allowing the dough to slide smoothly between your fingers. This makes it easier to shape into cool shapes and objects. The exact types and ratios of these additives are what Play-Doh scientists have perfected over the years. Every time you open a new container, you'll get the same satisfying first squish. While the ingredients might sound simple, making Play-Doh is all about getting the perfect mix. Giant mixers precisely combine the dry ingredients and flavorings, just like baking a cake but on a much larger scale. The amount of hot water added really depends on what kind of color and scent the company is going for. For example, a vibrant red might need some more water than a sunshine yellow to achieve the perfect consistency. But the overall ratio remains balanced, with about 70% dry ingredients to 30% water. This ensures the Play-Doh remains moldable and doesn't dry out early. Once perfectly mixed, the Play-Doh reaches temperatures of around 158 degrees Fahrenheit, 70 degrees Celsius for a short while. This is long enough to activate the binding properties of the ingredients. It then cools down quickly, ready for its transformation into those familiar colorful tubs. Throughout this stage, the Play-Doh keeps getting quality checks to ensure consistency, texture, and color are meeting the company's strict standards. Small samples might even be extracted and analyzed to catch any inconsistencies before they reach the final product stage. The Play-Doh factory has an assembly line that's busy with activity. A conveyor belt lined with empty Play-Doh tubs waits patiently. A machine nicknamed the stuffer scoops out the perfectly mixed dough and deposits a warm blob into each container. This stuffer is essentially a giant cookie cutter, but for hot Play-Doh. Following closely behind is another machine. This robotic arm precisely places a lid on each tub. Next comes the compression roller, a smooth round cylinder that rolls over the sealed tubs, creating that satisfying airtight seal. This airtight seal is crucial because it prevents the Play-Doh from drying out and ensures it stays fresh and squishy for many playtimes. Before Play-Doh heads out to stores, it undergoes a rigorous quality control process. First, a metal detector ensures no tiny metal bits snuck into the dough during mixing. This is super important as it guarantees the safety of children using Play-Doh. Next, the Play-Doh undergoes a series of tests to meet the company's strict standards for consistency, texture, and color. Trained technicians analyze the dough, checking for any irregularities that might affect its function. But quality control goes beyond physical checks. The Play-Doh company has a dedicated team of scientists in a special lab who are constantly creating new scents and colors, from yummy fruits like cherry to surprising surprises like bubblegum. They're always striving for even brighter colors, but that isn't easy. Some colors, like a perfect purple, can be pretty tricky to make. If you're looking to save some cash and get creative with the kids, you can actually make your own Play-Doh at home. This way, you can control the ingredients and even make it taste good. Although, we wouldn't recommend eating store-bought Play-Doh at all. It's super easy. Just toss everything in a pot, stir it up, and get ready for some fun. There are many different recipes you can find online, too. For a classic texture, try the cooked flour dough recipe. It involves simmering flour and water on the stovetop to create a cooked base, similar to the store-bought version. This method results in a smooth and pliable dough that holds its shape well. But if you're looking for a quicker and no-cook option, the no-cook flour dough recipe is your answer. It uses cream of tartar and vegetable oil to achieve a similar consistency to store-bought Play-Doh without the need for heat. So next time you dig your hands into a tub of Play-Doh, remember all the work that went into making that possible. From the secret recipe to the high-tech machines, a lot goes into making sure you have the perfect experience. Well, that's all from our side. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe to our channel for more videos on how everyday objects are made. Thank you for watching.